To a degree, we saw that a little bit last year with Al. They essentially brought together a CHL All-Star team to play in the ECHL, and some of the Brandon Marino, some of the guys worked out, some of the guys certainly did not. So it's kind of a mixed bag.
Well, if you're playing on a first line on a CHL team or another ECHL team, or you're getting all the minutes, and then they come here and ask you to play the second or maybe the third line, how's that going to work?
Probably not well.
You know, maybe you need to go get the best third line players or the best second line players versus the best first line players type thing.
Well, one of the guys that it's great to see him in a Komets uniform, especially the way last season ended with just 4 games in with a knee injury. Chris Auger, he's been fantastic this season. Has he picked up exactly where you thought he would, or has he been even better?
No, I think he's been better. And I was the guy who early in this, before the season started, said I thought Chris should be captain. You know, I mean, I just respect the heck out of Chris and the way he plays defense, especially. I don't know that I've ever seen a forward block more shots than he does. And the way he hustles, and he's just so darn smart. You know, I mean, he's just always in the right position. And I think he's come back much faster offensively than I thought he would. Maybe not as fast as he thought he would. But I think it helps that he's playing with Scott Fleming, somebody he's played with before, and Brandon Marino creates a lot of offense as well. It's like that line has really taken off and provided some stability, a base for the rest of the lines. Well, we know we're not the big line, but if we can get one in, that'd be great, because you know those guys are going to get 1 or 2.
Look at this, foreshadowing. Scott Fleming, the next thing on my list to talk about. He's been fantastic in his first season here. Great passer, 21 assists, that leads ECHL rookies right now. What have you seen from him that's allowed him to step up his game and be such an integral part of this Komets team?
His passes are sublime. I mean, we saw it right away in training camp. It's like you would think there's no way he knew the guy was there, but the puck goes there. And it's like, wow, how did he see that guy? You know, I mean, he's very sharp, very intelligent. He's quicker than you think he is, too. He's more physical than you think he is. He's not going to go out there and knock guys down, but he's very good in the neutral zone of hitting a guy a little bit and then jarring him off the puck and then taking the puck and go. He's great at lifting sticks in the neutral zone and that kind of thing. He's just a very intelligent player.
Talking about intelligent play and effort, penalty kill has been really good this season. A little over 87%.
Well, especially when you look at how inconsistent the goaltending's been.
Right. 87. There's been a lot of people in between the pipes for the Komets this season with varying efforts. But 87.4% on the penalty kill. 10 for 10 this past week.
Yeah, well, they've got Kalamazoo's number.
On the penalty kill.
They've got, Kalamazoo hasn't scored against them on the power play.
What do you chalk that up to?
I think you look at the forwards, and I mean that because they are busting their butts out there. They're not just standing there waving their sticks. They're moving their feet. They're getting into the passing lanes. They're putting pressure on a guy. If he fumbles the puck just a little bit, there's somebody there pressuring him, forcing them to try to keep the puck in the zone rather than make a play that sets up a shot.
I want to talk about the goalies because it's been a roulette. It's been insane as far as the goaltender. Muse came in and we thought, okay, here's the guy. He gets called up.
He gets called up before the game.
Yeah, we might never see John Muse in the Komets sweater again. So moving on from there, Meisner right now, because of an injury to Makarov, although Makarov could be back anytime this week, where are we at as far as goaltending goes? Because it has been, one guy in, one guy out all season long.
Well, I think you're right. Who's ever hot? I think that was a big part of the problem, too, because they were giving up these 2-goal leads a lot. Well, what was happening in that is they give up a soft goal. So everybody's subconsciously thinking that they're always trying to be back to protect the goalie. Well, then they weren't getting anything offensively done because they're so defensive trying to protect the goalie. And I think you saw some of that this weekend. They started the games that way. They kind of started slow because they were trying to protect Meisner. Well, then they realized, through the first period, it's like, okay, this guy's fine. We can just go. And then they would dominate the second period. I really think that's what happened. 2 games this week. Wednesday at Kalamazoo. Then you've got the Friday game at home against Amara. No weekend games, which is Saturday, Sunday games. Well, it's the all-star break.
Well, talking about this week, what are you most looking forward to? Because whenever I pose this question to you, you always say first period of the first game each week, you want to see the effort, you want to see the energy. What are you looking for? Is that the same thing that you're looking for on
Kind of, especially since Kaylee hasn't been playing. Mm-hmm. It's going to be interesting to see. I mean, you could see that Sunday. First period was kind of slow. And they
also their fourth game in 5 days.
Right, and they made some adjustments then in the intermission and came out and they were really around the net. I was really impressed with the way they were around the net a lot more on both ends. They were crashing the net. That's where OJ got his goal. That's where Sidlowski got his goal. I mean, they were right in there looking for rebounds. I want to see some more of that.
We've talked about they've always been looking for forwards to crash the goal. It seems like forever. Especially big guys. Sierczynski was kind of your typical guy when you take a look at the size, just beautiful. But Ouellet has been pretty good. And you took a look at his numbers on paper. Didn't score a lot of goals at his last place. He's not super big. Neither is Carter. But these are guys that they are wanting to be physical in the crease and get those rebound type.
And they were doing it. I mean, they play bigger than they are a little bit. And part of it is everybody says, well, the other teams are bigger. Well, they're not right now because anybody who's big, has any size at all, is gone. They've all been called up. Because if you can skate and you're big, they'll figure out a role for you.
Or, Pakaluk and Cesalina, who've been traded. I mean, those are 6'7" guys.
Right. But then you got Pepin and Southern, who are both big. You know, I mean, especially at forward though, if you're big and you can skate, they'll call you up. I mean, you're not going to be here.
And Coyle just got called up after the game on Saturday. Didn't play on Sunday for the Komets. How long do you expect him to be up in the AHL?
Oh, how do you know? Yeah. I mean, I was telling Kid and Max Strang the other day, is like, well, you could be here a while. If you play well, you never know. You just never know. I mean, who knew Makarov was going to get hurt and Meisner was going to get the chance? Who knew Meisner was going to get kicked out and Strang got to play, or he got hurt Saturday night and Strang got to play? I mean, you just don't know.
Final question, going forward, at this point of the year, in most Komet seasons, you say, God, we're eighth right now in the conference. We're barely in the playoffs.
But they're like 4 points out of second.
Right. But going forward, how positive is it? Because you mentioned Gary's kind of got the team with the attitude that he needs to be coaching at this point. So how positive is the outlook for the second half of the season? Throwing out all the craziness in the first half, but knowing that Gary has the players to run his system and do what he needs them to do.
Here's something to look at. Go on the ECHL website and check out the home records for all the teams. There really aren't that many good home records, including the Komets. But it's the road records that are distinguishing these teams. That's why I think the Komets are 6 points out of second place in the conference right now. It's just insane. I mean, if they can just get through 1 week where they win 3 games, they could move up 2 or 3 spots. That's how crazy it is.
And really, it's not that tight behind them.
No, it's not. And everybody talks about, well, they haven't played anybody any good. Well, there isn't really anybody any good at this point right now because of all the call-ups to the AHL and such. Now, it might change when the Olympics come and more players come down. That might change. But every game's one goal. Every game is one goal or one goal on an empty netter. So everybody's on the same level. It's just who gets hot at the right time.
It's funny that you mentioned that because it seems like when the Komets lose, they're not getting blown out like they were early in the season or at times last year. It's an overtime loss to Kalamazoo here on Wednesday night.
Right.
All right. What do you most?
It's not like Reading or Florida last year at the end of the year where it was 5-0 at the end of the first period.
Right. So I've already asked my final question, but I'm going to throw one in.
Okay.
What are you most looking forward to about this weekend? Mainly about the second half of the season for this Komets.
I think we're going to find out a lot if these guys keep going to the net. I really do. I mean, there was a distinct difference in that this weekend. The Toledo game was the best game of the year. I mean, that was interesting. It was physical. It was guys just laying it out. I mean, like I wrote, at the end of the game, there was 4 or 5 guys from both teams just on their knees on the ice because they were so tired. It was that kind of game. And it was because the Komets matched Toledo's physical intensity and went to the net and did that kind of stuff. If they bring that, more consistently, they're going to move up in a hurry. I want to see if they can keep that up, especially if Schrocky's not in the lineup.
All right. It should be a very interesting second half of this season. It's already been interesting on a lot of fronts in the first half. I imagine it's been interesting for you to follow them on a day-to-day basis because anything can change.
Well, that's like
anything goes.
I'd like a day off once in a while.
No,
because every time there's somebody leaving or coming, or it's amazing.
We're glad you don't take a day off. Go to his website, go to his blog, Tailing the Komets. Fantastic day-to-day updates. You do a great job.
Thank you.
We appreciate you coming in to talk some Komets hockey for the first time here in 2014. We'll be back on next Monday Monday to talk more Komets hockey throughout the season. Should be great and definitely is going to be interesting with a lot of storylines this season. He's Blake. I'm Glenn. We'll see you later.
Thank you.